So substitute them. You have x bar, m and sigma, and simplify. So first do the subtraction, and then multiplication and division. 2.8083. That's your visibility problem. Sorry, is that here? 3 into x bar minus m by sigma. This becomes 3 into 2.8083 minus 2.85 divided by 0.5284. 2.8083 minus 2.85 is minus negative 0.417 divided by this. Please coefficient, it is also a unit circle. We are observing the negative value for the skewness. We will conclude that the distribution is negatively skewed. Distribution is
2.8083 minus 2.35.
note ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಯಾರದು Ravina. So this is how you compute Karl-Pearson skewness. And now the next type of skewness is based on quartiles, which is Bowley's method. Bowley's coefficient of skewness. So that is given by the formula Q3 plus Q1 minus 2Q2 divided by Q3 minus Q1. So just substitute the values of already computed quartiles. So even in the frequency data, the method of computation of quartiles becomes different, but the Bowley's skewness formula remains the same. First do the multiplication, then addition, subtraction, then the division. Now 3.35 plus 2.2 minus 2 times of 2.85, which comes to negative 0.09 divided by 3.35 minus 2.2 is 1.1. 0.078. So this is the Bowley's coefficient of skewness, of course with negative sign. Therefore, say the distribution is negatively skewed. Now in the test and examination, as said, only 1 or 2 measures will be asked. So you could just ask, obtain the Bowley's coefficient of skewness or obtain Karl-Pearson coefficient of skewness. In the background, you should also show the working of this. So this is required. Only if this is known, you can compute the coefficient of skewness as well as the coefficient of Karl-Pearson skewness. So distribution is negatively skewed. So you have one more problem on discrete on question number 1D. Try almost all the things what we have discussed. You take your own values for deciles like D5 or D9, D2, and some percentiles, all quartiles. And you can compute mean deviation from mode, mean deviation from mean. Let's clear the board. You're done with the calculations. how is your availability tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 or 3 o'clock? Because last week I could only take for 1 hour. And I told you to give me an hour, a slot, and then do. Can I have a class tomorrow afternoon? I'll take a discrete frequency distribution. Question 1A. So we have x values 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Frequencies 12, 35, 48, 24, and 11. Okay. So it seems that you are free. So we'll have a class tomorrow also for 1.5 hours. 2 slots of 40 minutes. So let me make a list what all we'll find. So we'll look into standard deviation, variance, so for which mean is required. Then we'll see how to compute the coefficient of skewness. So Z and median is also required. And for Bowley skewness, we need Q1, Q2, Q3. And to learn how to obtain decile, I'll take a decile, PVT4 and 95th percentile. Then can compute the IQR, QB, coefficient, we talk about range, coefficient of range, and what else? One mean deviation. So let me talk about MDZ in this case. Okay, so you can similarly do MDX bar, MDM. Fine. So first step is finding mean. For mean, the formula is x bar is equal to sigma fx divided by sigma f, because we are talking about the frequency case. So I need total frequency. I need the values of fx. So in the next column, multiply the values of f with the values of x. So I have 20 into 12 to 40, then 25 to 35, 875, 48 into 30, 1440, then 24 into 35, 840, and 40 into 11, which is 440. Now obtain the total of this. 12 plus 35 plus 48 plus 24 plus 11, so this comes to 130. And total of f into x, 240 plus 875, 1440 plus 840 plus 440 is 3835. So we have mean is equal to 3835 divided by 130. The unit is not given in the question, so need not worry. The units ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ attach ಮಾಡಿ, ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ problem. So we're done with mean. Now using mean, we have to compute standard deviation and variance. We will write the standard deviation formula. Now since it is frequency data, we'll have f into x square. So ಎಲ್ಲ ಟರ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ f1 ಒಂದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ minus x bar square. So this is the simplified form of the formula sigma f into x minus x bar whole square by sigma f. So I need f into x square. So you can be careful here. It is not fx whole square. Fx already there. Then the square ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. No, that is f into x square. You need the squared values of x multiplied by f. So we'll have x square and then f into x square. So x values will go to 20, 25, 30. Adana first square ಮಾಡಿ ಬರಿ. So 20 square, 400, 25 square, 30 square, 35 square, and 40 square. Now multiply this x square with the f value. So f into x square gives you fx square. Now 12 into 400, 4800, then 35 into 625 to 1875, and then 48 into 900, it is 43,200. 24 into 1225, 29,400, and then 11 into 1600, 17600. Now total of this column is total of fx square. 4800 plus 21875 plus 43200, 29400, and 17600. So this coming to 116875. So substituting that in the formula, we get sigma is equal to 116875 divided by n. Very don't count the number of observations. For all frequency cases, you will be using total of f. Okay, this total of f is also indicated by capital N, and in some books, in place of sigma f, they will give capital N. 130 minus the mean square. Mean is 29.5. So we'll have 29.5 square. So this is the quotient and the square, and the difference comes to 28.7885, and the square root of that is 5.3655. So approximating the fourth digit. So this is our standard deviation. And we know that variance is the square of standard deviation. So whenever you have the standard deviation value with you, you can directly write the variance. If the question is say compute variance, then one method is you'll find SD and you can obtain the square of SD, or you can use the formula of standard deviation without the square root to obtain the value of variance directly. So we're done with mean, standard deviation, and variance. Next, we'll look into mode, median, and partition values. A mode is very much simpler again. Mode is the value of x with highest f. So x with high frequency. So this is the definition for a frequency case. In case of raw data, we say mode is the most repeated value, and most repeated value in the data will have the largest frequency. Largest frequency here is 48, its respective value is 30. Therefore, z or mode is equal to 30. Now, since you are getting only one value for z, you can use this z in producing the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness. Now, since we have our x bar, z, and sigma here, I'll just obtain the Karl-Pearson's skewness also. Now, if in this case also you have a problem with the value of mode, then you can use median as we did in the previous case. 29.5. So x bar minus z by sigma. X bar is 29.5, z is 30, and sigma is 5.3655. So again, we are observing negative skewness. 29.5 minus 30 is minus 0.5 divided by 5.3655 is minus 0.09319. So you can say the distribution is negatively skewed. Distribution is negatively skewed. below. So here's some part. The next is the value of median and the partition value. Median is also a partition value. Now, first step, when you have a frequency data with you, raw or discrete, and you are obtaining the partition value, is computing the value of less than cumulative frequencies. So, to obtain the values of LCF first. So, you have the frequencies, ನೀವು fx square column ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದರ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೇನೆ LCF ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Suppose if you don't have space, then you can write it in the next table, but you need x values, f values. Don't just start from the LCF. We'll have 12, then 12 plus 35, which is 47, plus 48, 95, plus 24, 119, plus 11, 130. So these are the values of LCF. Now, obtaining median and other quartiles are very easy in this case compared to the raw data, because in raw data, if we end up getting the decimal value as the position, we have to keep on expanding and then obtain the values. But here it is very much easier. Now, the formula says it is the values with respect to the position n by 2, n by 4 for quartiles. Median is same as second quartile, so I will not compute that explicitly. Q3 is 3n by 4th value, D4 is 4n by 10th value, and then we have P95, which is 95n by 100th value. Please remember, in case of frequency data, we'll be using capital N. Capital N is nothing but total frequency, which is 130. Don't just count the values of x and take n as 5. That happens only in raw data, not in the frequency data. So we have 130 by 2, which is 65th value. That identify which is 65th value. Then n by 4, 130 by 4th value, which is 32.5th value. And then 4n by 10. 4 into 130 divided by 10 comes to 52. So it is 52nd value. And then 3n by 4. 3 into 130 by 4th value, which comes to be 97.5th value, and then 95 into 130 by 100, which is 123.5th value. Okay, so we have just received the, computed the positions. Now we have to substitute the values of x. Now comes the computed values of LCF. So we'll be using LCF to identify the partition values. So what it says is, after computing the position, pick the LCF, which is just greater than the computed position, and pick the respective value of our x. So first I have 65. Now LCF greater than 65. So there will be several values, but you have to pick the immediate greater. So 95 is the immediate greater value of 65 here, and its respective value of x is 30. So we have median is equal to 30. Next position is 32.5. Now LCF greater than this position is 47. The respective value of x is 25. So first quartile is 25. Next 52. LCF greater than 52 is 95. Therefore the D4 is 30. 97.5. LCF greater than that is 119. That is 35. So even if you have a decimal value, or if you don't have a decimal value in the position, the method remains the same. More than 123 is 130. So P95 is equal to 40. So if you have unit of excess, kg, centimeters, dollars, rupees, you attach those units. So this is how we pick the value. So we can write these are the x values with LCF just greater than position. So while reading for the test and examination, you will come to know how you have selected these values. Now we have all the quartiles Q1, Q2, Q3. So we can look into computation of IQR. So Q3 minus Q1. So we have Q3 as 35. Q1 is 25. So IQR is 10. QD is Q3 minus Q1 by 2. That is 35 minus 25 by 2, which comes to 5. Then coefficient of QD, this is Q3 minus Q1 divided by Q3 plus Q1. So 35 minus 25 by 35 plus 25, which comes to 10 divided by 60, which is 0.166%. Correct? One point six six seven. Oh. I lost the power. ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರಿ ನೀವು? The Windows doesn't help us. Current ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಣ. Fine, this is how much I can help you. So anyhow, you have quartiles with you now. You compute IQR, QD, coefficient of QD will be the same. Okay, so we'll look into the calculation of MDZ. MDZ ಮತ್ತೆ skewness based on quartiles ಕೊಟ್ಟು complete ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. MDZ is same, I guess. Same steps, but you'll have to multiply it by F. I'll just compute Bowley's skewness here. Bowley's coefficient of skewness. So this remains the same. So these formulas, they remain same for raw data, discrete data, continuous data, but only the methods of obtaining the quartiles differ. So we'll have Q3, Q1, Q2. So we have those values, substitute them. So we had Q3 as 35, Q1 25, Q2 was 30 divided by Q3 minus Q1, 35 minus 20. 35 plus 25 is 60. 2 times of 30 is also 60. You'll get 60 minus 60, which is 0. So coefficient of skewness is 0. So this indicates the distribution is 0 skewed, or you can say symmetric. But you can say that in case of Karl Pearson, we get a value. But if you look into the numerical value of Karl Pearson skewness, it is 0.00 something. So it is indicating that is also a closer value to 0. And this is the reason why we use Bowley's rather than Karl Pearson, because Karl Pearson is much affected by the extreme values. So the calculation of standard deviation and calculation of X bar, that involves, if the data has extreme values, we will observe no fluctuation in those values. So because of that reason, the 0 skewness is observed to be negative skewness. But you need not worry about those details, because in the examination will not give you calculation of both the skewness for the same question. Now, since it is a practice session, I'm just looking into all possible measures. Now conclude according to what you observed for the given distribution. So don't worry about the skewness in that case is different, in this case it is different. You need not worry about much. Okay, we got the power. Work on it. So only thing is now we had MDZ. Now MDZ again it is same. We have frequency data. So in case of raw data, we just write sigma mod z minus m. Now it is f into mod x minus z divided by sigma f. So it is the total of product of f into x minus z. So first you have to do mod x minus z for every x, multiply that by f and take the total, divide the total by total of m. Can I clear this part? Clear Madlado. Coefficient of MDZ, which is MDZ divided by Z. So we have already captured Z. Z is the value of X with highest frequency. Highest frequency is 48, therefore Z is equal to 30. Now we have to do mod X minus Z and F into mod X minus Z. So first step will have mod X minus Z. That is, from every value of X, subtract the value of Z. So we have X values here, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So when I do X minus Z, 20 minus 30 minus 10, but will not write the sign. Then 25 minus 30 minus 5, 30 minus 30, 0, 35 minus 30, and 40 minus 30. Now do F into mod X minus Z. So every value of this is multiplied by F. 12 into 10, 120. 35 into 5, 175. 35 into 5, yes. Then 48 into 0, 24 into 5, and then 11 into 10, 110. So capture the total of the sigma F into mod X minus Z, 120. 120 plus 175 plus 120 plus 110 is equal to 525. So we have MDZ is equal to 525 by 130. So 525 by 130 is 4.0385, and its coefficient is MDZ by Z. MDZ is 4.0385 and Z is 30. So we get this divided by 30 is equal to 0.1346. Stick it down. So there is another measure. I said the most widely used measure when you want to look into the measure of spread, that is coefficient of variation, that is C, and that is given by the formula sigma divided by x bar into 100. So we have standard deviation, we have mean. How much was standard deviation? Can you give me the value of standard deviation? And also the mean.
Standard deviation is equal to 5.3655.
Okay. Mean was 20. X bar.
Mean 29.5.
29.5. So 5.3655 divided by 25 into 100. So 21.46%. So that is the value of C. Now if you have another distribution, say the same set of marks and students, just assume, and if you have computed CV for that, I will compare the CV and we'll select that distribution which has less value of CV. So lesser the value of CV, more consistent and uniform the distribution. Consistency and uniformity indicates that much of the values are closer to each other and they are close to the values of mean also. So what I'm telling is this is, you can call this as distribution 1, CV1. So I have another distribution, say some X and F, of which you're getting CV as 42.34%. Then if you compare the CV, you can observe that here it is less. So you can say that in this distribution, values are closer to its mean, whereas in this distribution, there are values which are far away from mean also. That is the conclusion. So that we'll look into in the next class. So I'll wind up the session here. So we have learned how to compute various measures of central tendency, position, skewness, and dispersion for raw data, that is only when X values are given, and discrete frequency data where X and F are given. Tomorrow we'll talk about a problem with continuous frequency distribution. We'll see how to obtain all these measures, and then we'll look into the applications of CV when two or more distributions are given to us. So tomorrow also you can join at 3 o'clock. So we'll have a short session, 3 to 4, or maybe up to 4:10 or 4:50. Will not take much of your time. Okay, so what about the portion completion from other papers, other subjects, other classes going on regularly with respect to other subjects?
Yes, sir. Every classes are going on. They have finished like 2-3 modules already.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so we need to have a test also, C1. When are you able to take it? Next week?
Sir, how is the C1 going to happen? Like, are they give us questions? We have to give the answers and send a PDF to you, or
Yes.
some other way?
The questions will be given to you and you have to answer it, and then you have to send me the PDF. Let us fix a date first. I'll just instruct you what to do. So it's 14 fine on the next Monday. Okay, look into this. Okay, next Monday is 12th. So can you take a test on 12th or you want it on 19th? So you decide and let me know. Even if you want, any other day other than Monday, that could also be done. So just see if you are available on 12th or 19th, that would be very helpful so that I could finish the valuation as soon as possible. Fine. Okay. So I'll end the session.